Shabbat Shalom everyone. This week we are reading Parshat Shelach in Israel, and it is a phenomenal parsha packed with mitzvot, and none other at the end of the parsha in Perek Tetzvav. This is in chapter 15. It's going to talk about the Mitzvah of Tzitzit, fringes. So what is Tzitzit exactly? So an interesting insight I saw was that Tzitzit, what are the letters that compose the word? It's Tzadik, Yud, Tzadik, Taf. So if we look at the numerical gematria of this word, the letter Tzadik is 90, so you've got that twice, so that's 180. You've got two Yuds inside it, each one 10 respectively, that equals another 20, so that's 200 so far. Then you've got a Taf that happens to be the numerical value of 400. So if you add that together, that's 600, okay? 600, that's nice. But then you've also got 5 knots and 8 strings to a tzitzit. So if you collide them all together, that's 613. And Chazal, the Rabbanim, some of them say that wearing tzitzit, the mitzvah of tzitzit itself, is equivalent to all the mitzvot in the Torah. That's how great and potent it actually happens to be. And some of the sages have said that it symbolizes the lev, the heart of a person. And if you look at another remez, another hint, if you look at what the word lev, how you compose it gematrically, it is a lamed is the equivalent of the number 30, and the bet is a 2, so that comes to 32. And you see this very much where you know that you've got you have 4 different sides of the corners of the tzitzit, and you've got 8 strings to it, so that equals to 32. So it very much represents the heart of a person. This mitzvah does. It's the heart of the Jewish people, and it brings a lot of love to Hashem and yirat Hashem. I heard a phenomenal story which is featured in Mesechet Menachot in page 44 in the Gemara. So what happened over here with this regarding Tzitzit? There was one time a man, a very, very righteous individual who loved the Mitzvah of Tzitzit, wore it all the time. And he heard that there was a harlot that was coming from a far place, and all of a sudden his evil inclination got the better of him, and his desire got the better of him, and he took 400 gold pieces with him. And he wanted to meet her and embrace her, or whatever. And he went to the far off place, to the palace of hers, and came with the money, and was coming towards her, and with all the lavish presents and the money. And as he was about to embrace her, he got slapped sort of from his talit which he was wearing while he was taking it off. It brushed on his face, and he stopped, and he pulled himself away, and said no. And the woman said, "What's going on? There's something wrong with me? You know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have been with me. You know, everyone wants to be, and all of a sudden you're the first person pulling away. What's going on?" So this righteous individual said that, you know, in the Torah, in the Shema which we read, in the Pasuk which we read at the end of Shelach, it says, "Ani Hashem Elokeichem, I am Hashem your God." It's featured twice in the paragraph where it talks about tzitzit. You know, how can I go against Hashem here and do this transgression against Hashem? And he pulled away and walked away. Well, this woman was absolutely memorized from this incredible act. She never saw this before, and she wanted to trace what had happened over here. She wanted to find his rabbi, or the study hall, the yeshiva where he was learning in, and she went to the far place where the yeshiva was and encountered Rav Chia, and she beseeched Rav Chia that she wanted to convert. She saw like the amazement, like how he pulled away because of the Torah, because of the Bible itself. So she wanted to become a convert, and she became a righteous individual, a righteous convert she became, and a big tzadikah at the end. And that's a phenomenal story of the power of tzitzit. Another interesting story on tzitzit is, there was once a rabbi of the name Rabbi Tzion Bitan, who was from Tunisia, a great rabbi. And one time he was in the hospital, and he had like hours to live, the doctors gave him, and he was in a very critical state. He went to sleep in the hospital, and as he fell in a deep sleep, his father came to him in a dream, who was also a great rabbi, and said to him, "You know the tzitzit you are wearing at the moment, it is invalid, it's pasul. There's something wrong with possibly the strings or the knots or something." I said, "You need to change it." So the great rabbi woke up startled and called his family immediately and ordered them, told them, "Please bring me a new tzitzit for me to wear." So they brought the tzitzit to him, the new pair. He put it on, and miraculously within hours he was much better, and he was able to leave the hospital shortly after. This is how great the mitzvah of tzitzit is. We also see there was a great rabbi that passed away around 10 years ago, named Rabbi Pinchas Scheinberg, who was the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Torah Or in Jerusalem. He was a very prominent rabbi, and he was notorious for wearing many pairs of tzitzit together. It was even quoted, he had worn at one stage 150 pairs of tzitzit. Well, or someone would think you're boiling and schwitzing with so many tzitzit. So he said that there's so many Jewish people across the world, unfortunately, that aren't wearing tzitzit. So he wants to compensate for those people and put on all the tzitziot to say how precious this mitzvah is, how dear it is to Hashem. Even there was a great Iraqi rabbi of the name Ben Ish Chai. He says that you should even go to sleep with a tzitzit on. To wear it even when you're asleep, because every mitzvah after sunrise in the morning, before sunrise, you get a mitzvah from wearing the tzitzit. And that's how precious this mitzvah is. And maybe we all be zocher to buy the best tzitzit we can possibly, the cleanest one, the whitest one possible. And we shouldn't feel that it's a waste of money. We should embrace it and buy so much of it, Bezrat Hashem. And it's a phenomenal parsha. And I want to wish you on that note all a fantastic Shabbat Shalom. This Devar Torah is for Refuah Shlema of Yosef ben Edna. Bezrat Hashem, he'll make a full Refuah Shlema from his health problems. Have a fantastic Shabbat. And remember, this week in outside of Israel, it is Parshat Ba'alotcha. So if you look on my YouTube page, you can see the old Devar Torah from that. Have a fantastic Shabbat, guys. Shabbat Shalom.